Hi guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 4th of November 2019. Time is almost 2 o'clock PM GMT time. So this is going to be a general public video, something that I'm going to be posting for everybody. It's based on the Patreon site, what I'm trying to accomplish with that. One of the members asked me some questions, asking me to kind of do some videos on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish with Patreon, what's it for, general, how can I say, the I guess concepts that I use when I'm trading, that sort of thing, and how best to use it. Well, I've obviously taken that on board. This is why I'm doing this video. But, I've tried very hard and to be as clear as I can possibly be, with Patreon, what it's for, what it's about, and why I started Patreon. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you to death, but I'm going to try and keep this short, concise, and to the point. My intention, excuse me, my intention with any membership service was never to teach people how to trade. Okay, that's a coaching service that is very few and far between, meaning I hardly ever do it with anybody. Okay, I helped somebody last year. That was one person. I did that for 6 months. I'm helping somebody now, and I've been going with him probably almost 9 months now, almost 10 months. Okay, but it's a one-on-one thing. It's not something that I do all the time. Yeah, I went for years without coaching any trader. I did basically 2 people in the last year and a half. So my intention is not to teach people how to trade. And even then, when I coach traders, it's not me teaching them how to be me teaching them what I do. It's never been like that. It's when a trader has come to me and I've said, all right, look, I'll help you out, sort of thing, and I'm kind of coaching that trader. I've always sat down first, got a general feel for how they trade, and then tried to work on their own personal trading plan and how they want to trade. Every trade is different, yeah. So it's never my intention. It was never my intention with Patreon to do anything like that or any other service to teach people how to trade. It's never ever been about that. The Patreon service was initially not going to be used on Patreon. Basically, what I was going to do is I was going to have a signal service, show a bunch of signals, and just kind of go down that road. Yeah, but what I realized was, and having contacted the FCA as well, I spoke to them. I went through the procedure. They explained to me which sections applied to what I was thinking of doing, and I had to go through each one. And the lady basically said to me, go through this section and this subsection and these particular classes and these particular articles and these particular acts and so on and so on and so on. And once you've gone through all of those, cross-reference with what you're wanting to do with what's on that on that particular line of sentences or whatever, that paragraph, and if it matches, then you have to get licensing based on that particular thing. I mean, it was pretty painstaking, to be honest, but I had to do it because I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do a signal service, it was never going to be getting myself into trouble or getting anybody else into trouble either. Going through that made me realize it was not really something that I wanted to go into. Although doing a signal service on demo accounts and that sort of stuff, is doable, it's not my thing. It just didn't feel right. Didn't feel like it was something that I wanted to do. So I opted to use, the idea behind Patreon, okay, and that is to have an analysis service that complements what I do as well. So to get to the heart of it now, Patreon basically is a platform that I use to deliver content, okay? It's not specific to this content. It's not anything special. It's just a platform that people can use to deliver their own personal content, okay? And I am aware that people can share, the details on Patreon. I know all of this, I'm very, very, very well aware of how Patreon works. I could shut it all down, and just use Vimeo. Pay for the subscription service, it's fine, but I trust the people that come to Patreon. It's not the end of the world, and any sensitive information that's going to be posted on Patreon will be posted in a way which you cannot share. You either have to go through the Patreon platform and sign up, or you just can't see it. It's as simple as it gets. But it's an analysis service, yeah. At first, when I first started posting on Patreon, I had a little section on the right hand side of the tiers that basically said, you know, a bunch of stuff, analysis, weekend, and I said I'll be showing some of my trades and whatever else. And then I realized, you know what, don't really want to be going down that road because it's too much work for me. It means I've got to be in front of this, the screens all the time, and making sure that I'm posting things. And then on top of that, to be honest, I know how to take the trades that I take. The issue is, the reason I've got Euro USD up here right now is because there's a level down here, where I was watching this morning. I had a really nice drop. I actually missed the entry, and it had a nice pop up. I think top end was about 18 pips from where I was trying to get in. Almost 20 pips. Yeah, but either way, I would have been at break even and very close to getting stopped out right now. Yeah, but the point is, imagine me posting that, live while I'm doing it. It's a very difficult trade to take unless you're watching, unless you know what you're watching for, unless you know what you're doing. Yeah. And then I have to factor in that some people will use larger size, some people are just crazy, some people are gamblers, some people. I just didn't want to go down that road, so I eliminated everything. I just said, right, you've got your look ahead video where I go through all the levels of note and I describe them in detail, going through everything and all the reasons why. And anybody that's been part of Patreon, and this is not a plug to join, I'm just saying, anybody that's been part of Patreon, if they're honest, okay, and they posted a testimonial, they will tell you, I don't think I've been wrong once since I started Patreon. Yeah. And I know that sounds really arrogant. Forgive me, honestly. It's not meant to come across like that. But I'm talking about the analysis. Okay. I don't think I've been wrong once since I started Patreon. And that was a while ago. And as I always say, just because you're right on the direction or the bias, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can make money with that information. Okay. I've always maintained that. That's not what this is about. But I'm just saying, my analysis and price reading is very, very good. Okay. And in showing that through the look ahead video going into the week, the coming week, people are able to pay attention to the levels that make sense, not just because I'm pointing them out and saying, oh, here's an interesting level, but because I'm explaining why that's an interesting level, and inadvertently teaching through not teaching. Yeah. That's effectively what I'm trying to accomplish with Patreon, to teach people how to trade without teaching them how to trade. Yeah, because that way, traders themselves will still use their own personal way of looking at the marketplace, and complementing their own personal ideas with what they're being shown on the screen. Okay, it's the best and most effective way to teach somebody how to trade, in my personal opinion. Yeah, so going forward from that, you've got your look ahead. Then you have, and this is the basic stuff, you've got your look ahead over the weekend, and it depends. Sometimes I do it as the market is opening. Sometimes I do it really early, over the weekend, or sometimes I do it kind of, mid Sunday. Yeah. Either way, I always leave enough time for you to watch, and get a good feel for what's going to happen on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday, we have a midweek review. Okay. This is all the analysis stuff. Wednesday, we have a midweek review. Rarely on Thursday, depends on how busy I am on Wednesday, but generally Wednesday we have a midweek review where I'll go through what's happened so far and what to expect for the remainder of the week. On Tuesday we have a live session. This was never meant to be an ongoing thing, the live session, but I like the way it's going, which allows basically to have a weekend look ahead. Monday comes, we get some price action on Sunday and Monday. Tuesday we have our live session, which is the New York session. And then Wednesday we have a midweek review, yeah, and it ties in really nicely for the full week analysis to show you the whole process from start to finish throughout the entire week. Then going into the following week, so week to week to week to week to week, because we're repeating this process and we're constantly watching the same stuff over and over and over and over again, you get such a nice clean feel for what's actually happening on the charts in front of you. Yeah, and you can see where price has been, where price is, and where price could go next. That's what Patreon is. I'm not teaching you guys directly how to trade. Yeah. Now, in terms of the concepts, this is just something that I'm going to say right now. And I'm going to be very blunt about this. Okay. If somebody signs up to Patreon, I'm very thankful. It's very, very cheap. It's $25 a month. I deliberately made it $25 a month because I know it's something that everybody can afford. And the information that I give is insane, to be fair. There's so much content. I mean, I deliver content after content, you know, and I go above and beyond what I say that I'm going to deliver on Patreon. You know, there will be future tiers, but that's something that I'm working very closely with myself on. I need to figure out how best to serve the community and what I'm trying to achieve, you know, on a separate site. But I made it cheap specifically for a reason, because I don't want people to feel like it's too expensive for the information that they're getting. But on top of that, you know, I want to I want to over promise and basically I want to under promise and over deliver. Basically, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, and I know it's affordable for everybody. But like I was saying, I'm going to be very blunt about this. If you join, do not expect me to go through the process of this is what this is, this is what this is, this is what this is, this is what this is. It's not going to happen. Okay, I'm not going to teach that way. I would rather just have people here that want to learn through the process that I'm going through and how I approach the marketplace and how I teach things through the look ahead, the midweek review and so on and so on, my way, and just either accept that and learn, or don't join, basically. And like I said, it's not a massive service. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of members. I don't think I would want hundreds of members, to be honest. I've always maintained that I want a small focus group. I've had a few people join, leave. I've had some people that have been here since the start, and I really appreciate those those guys hanging around. It puts a little bit of scratch in my pocket as well, and they get to learn a lot of stuff. The other thing about concepts as well, like I said, if I say, for example, this is an order flow shift here, okay? Now, really think about this, guys, and again, this is where trust is involved, and it's not very expensive to find this out, to be honest. Yeah, it's $25 a month. You hang around for a month, you see. You know what I mean? You either learn something or you don't. But if I show you and say this is an order flow shift, and you say, well, hang on a second, what is an order flow shift? And I say, it's simple. It just means that orders have shifted from going lower, so they were short, and as it goes through this level, that's shifted now, so they're no longer short. They are now actually long. Okay, so they're going to be looking for higher prices. And then that person says, yeah, but why? And then I say, it doesn't matter why. Yeah, and they say, well, what's the point then? And I say, well, there is no point for you. Yeah, you may as well just see out the remainder of the month. I wish you all the best, and I hope everything goes well in your trading. That's it, simple. Because it's not my job with the package or the tier that I'm delivering to teach you how to read price. I mean, you're talking years and years and years of experience, yeah? And I'm sorry, I don't mean no disrespect, but teaching price delivery and how price moves is not an easy thing to show. But indirectly, if I say this is an order flow shift, and you say, okay, cool, so prices were going down, you're paying attention to how it's forming, okay, and it comes down, it respects it. You think, okay, look, it's respected this, that's fine, and there's quite a few from that high to this low, this whole section of price action. There's quite a few order flow shifts. But as you're continuing to go through the process of watching these things and listening to the way that I'm explaining them on a weekly basis, you will pick it up anyway. Yeah, you pick it up indirectly, whether you want to or not. You get a feel for how price is moving and why price is moving. You start to understand, the ranges, the way price moves through and away from order flow shifts, specific areas based on higher time frame, levels transposed to lower time frame levels. How the confirmation of a lower time frame confirms, how the movement on a lower time frame confirms and points to the higher time frame level, okay, and so on and so on and so on. This stuff unfolds on its own, and you see it unfolding on its own. Yeah, but like I said, I never said that I was going to be teaching people how to trade. It simply isn't the case. It simply isn't the case. My intention has always been to help people and guide people, because every trade is different, in their own personal journey to trading mastery, however that works for them. Okay, I will also finish with this. I'm going to be using this account to show some trading I don't need to prove anything to anybody, guys. I've said this before. I was very transparent with my account right from the beginning. Not my main account. I've always said I'll never show that. But I was very transparent with the account that I was using previously when I first started Patreon. I showed everybody the balance. I've got nothing to hide. It doesn't bother me. This Oanda account, and the reason that I chose to use this Oanda account is because, number one, it's there. Number two, I had a message from somebody, some guy called me from Oanda. He was talking about my account, this and that. And I thought, you know what, it's there, the money's there, may as well use it. And it allows me to just open very, very, very small positions, and it's 100-to-1 leverage, which is a bonus. Yeah, I'll probably never use it, but it allows me to basically open positions with basically next to nothing, and it be a real account, and me be able to show lots of different studies, and you'll see for yourselves. If I open 20 trades from now until the end of the month, for example, and every single one is a loser, that's going to tell you a lot about me as a person, you can't fake your results, basically. If I said, if I showed an open trade right now, say where I was trying to get in this morning, okay, I missed the entry like I said, but if I showed an open trade from where I am right now and price was kind of up here and then it came all the way back down and I've just got stopped out at break even, for example, it's a break even trade, those who are in the Patreon room know that I've had 2 trades on euro. One of them was a scratch trade, but that particular trade study, I was in that trade for a very long time and I was explaining, look, this is where you could have taken 30 pips. This is where you could have taken 40 pips. It's offered multiple opportunities to take money off. It's offered multiple opportunities to half the position. It's offered multiple opportunities to, reduce your risk and so on and so on. I went through the whole thing from start to finish. And then I left it and I let it get stopped out at break even. My intention is not to make money with this account. It's to teach. It's to teach and go through the process indirectly of how to become a good, proficient trader and a consistent trader. And then the second trade, obviously, I explained that I was in down here. I showed you guys the trade, obviously. For those of you that aren't on Patreon, you won't know what I'm talking about, but I had a trade open down here. Price went up, and then it inadvertently started to come back down. I took 14.9 pips off that trade. There was a moment where I was up, if I remember, about 29 pips or so. It's almost 30 pips. Yeah, give or take. It was slightly less. It wasn't 32 or 33. It was 29 pips. And I was really hoping it was going to kind of pop up here and take out that high. But as it started to pull back a bit, I just took my 14.9 pips, 15 pips, and I said that's fine. But my stop was at break even anyway, so either way, it's irrelevant. It would have come down and I would have got stopped out at break even, and the same with this particular trade. The second trade was a monitored trade. It was a study trade, but it was a trade that I was looking to take money off. I wanted to bank some profit, so obviously I did that with that particular trade. But going back to what I was saying, it's going to be very difficult for me to show the process of me trading without showing I'm a good trader and I know how to trade. Because I'm very transparent. Very, very transparent in the way that I, show my results, which you will see. I've got nothing to hide. Like I said, I said this account's got just under $20 in it. And I will add to the account, obviously, because I want to make sure that we're able to do multiple trades if we have to. Although I don't need to, because it's, like I said, it's 100-to-1 leverage. I can literally open one unit of I think it's like 100, which is minuscule, if I have to open multiple trades. But I'll stick another $100 in here at some point, I'm sure. We can kind of take it from there. But, I'm not really a big fan of Oanda, and I'm not really, not a fan of them. I'm very neutral when it comes to, Oanda. They're very liquid, they're very reputable. I do think that their spreads open up a little bit too much. Personally, you can see on this particular pair right now, there's a spread of 1.2 or 1. Generally, on my own personal main account, the spread's between 0.6 and 0.7. It's small. It's not huge, but it's noticeable when you're trading a little bit bigger size. But yeah. It is what it is. So, like I said, look, guys, forgive me for saying things, in a way that may come across as a little bit over the top. But I just want to illustrate, what I'm really trying to get across. So people will just understand or they won't. I never wanted or never will come across as somebody who's trying to, teach people how to trade. Okay. the way that I trade anyway, at least. Yeah, my intention is to help push traders along to get to where they want to be, right? I've helped traders go from zero to, very good traders. Yeah? And it's taken years, but they've gone from zero to very good traders. And I can speak to these traders. I've seen their results. They've done really, really well for themselves. I've got one trader that I helped, back in 2007, who now trades for a living in the city of London. And he worked with me, and he worked with a couple of other people that we know. And as a group, we really push forward. He's doing really, really well for himself. Yeah, that's specifically going out of my way to help somebody become a better trader. And even then, I still didn't teach him how to trade. I took what he had and I made it better. Yeah. So again, going back to the Patreon stuff, that's what that's really all about. There will be additional tiers added to Patreon. It is a business, guys. Obviously, I set it up that way, to make sure it's something that I can, have as a completely separate entity. Again, to protect myself and to protect other people. But it's all education. It's all education and pushing traders forward. And the additional tiers will be, maybe basically I'm in the process of recording videos of my own personal view of the market and how it works. Okay, and then how to use that information to apply to your trading. And you'll find that it's very unique. Okay, based on a lot of years of experience, based on a lot of people's information, my own personal information that I've learned from other people, and I've fused it all together in a way that makes sense. I think my own personal gift is not that I'm a great trader, because that's something that I've earned. I just think I'm very good at explaining things to people in a way that they understand. Yeah. So, although I'm a great trader, I would say I'm probably a better teacher. And the people that I've helped over the years and the people that are in Patreon, are my testimony to that fact. I do not have to say I'm a great teacher, just believe me. The results speak for themselves. People understand, what I'm saying. And again, I hang around for as long as it takes during the live session. People don't understand, and I stay there. I stay there to make sure that they do. So again, that's Patreon. That's what it's for. There will be more to come. And then obviously, we'll take it from there. And I'll just throw it in there at the end. If anybody does want to join, you're more than welcome. Do not join before the 1st. Yeah. Or if you're going to join in the first week of the month. Because what happens is, if you join, for argument's sake, on the 30th of November, you'll be charged on the 30th of November, and then you'll be charged again on the 1st. Okay, so just be mindful of that. It is on the homepage. It is very clear that is what happens, and that's to protect the content that's already on there, because there's a lot of content on there, previous content, which becomes available to you immediately. So be aware of that. So if anybody, like I said, wants to jump over and join our group, you're more than welcome. But if not, I will periodically be throwing out videos anyway, going over some stuff, so just subscribe to me on YouTube, I guess, or just keep an eye on the Forex Factory thread, because there's always going to be something there for you to learn from. All right, guys, so I wish everybody all the best. I hope the video finds everybody well, and I will catch up with you guys very soon. Take care.